Hello, and welcome back. Today we have Platinum Review number 47, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is a third-person, action-adventure game released in 2023 and is the follow-up to 2018's Spider-Man and 2020's Miles Morales. Published by Sony Interactive Entertainment and developed by Insomniac Games, Spider-Man 2 picks up after the events of Miles Morales a little less than a year later. The game begins with a flashback 2 years earlier, around the time of the start of the first game, and foreshadows things to come with an interaction between Norman Osborn and his son Harry, who is sick and dying.
Promise me something.
Anything.
If this doesn't work, take me out.
It'll work.
I don't have a lot of time left. I want a chance to say goodbye.
I'm not going to lose you. I will never let you go.
Back in the present day, Miles Morales attends physics class when his substitute teacher arrives, who is none other than Peter Parker. Only a minute into his lesson, a sandstorm outside the window alerts Miles to trouble, and he and Pete must head out for Spider-Man duties. By now, you should be familiar with the basics of free-swinging controls, but brief on-screen prompts will refresh your memory if needed. As expected, the target is Flint Marko, aka Sandman, who is rampaging through the city. MJ calls in to Pete and briefs him on the details. She has an updated character model and now works for the Daily Bugle under J. Jonah Jameson. She informs Pete and Miles that Marko was acting paranoid and irrational just before losing control. Pete reaches the heart of the sandstorm to find a giant Marko at the center. He battles him as the player is familiarized with the basics of combat. During battle, Pete is knocked into a nearby building, where Sandman spawns a small army of soldiers. Here, a new and exciting ability is introduced. Pete now has rechargeable and interchangeable attacks linked to specific button presses, similar to using magic in Kingdom Hearts. The first, Spider Barrage, unleashes a powerful Doc Ock-like attack, with metallic arms. After taking out the enemies, it is now Miles' turn to confront Marko. Combined with his electrical abilities, Miles uses water to wet the sand and overcharge his attacks. When this doesn't work, he teams with Pete and Genki, who has figured out Pete is the other Spider-Man. Miles is knocked into a building and must fight the Sand Army with his own unique, customizable attacks. Eventually, he reconvenes with Pete, who is blasted out above the sea. With no other option, he must utilize a new gadget.
Break out the new toys! The suit's last software patch wasn't stable, but here goes nothing!
Pete deploys the web wings and glides back towards Miles and Marko. Unable to overpower Sandman, Pete comes up with a crazy plan. Miles intentionally gets struck by lightning, and they combine for an insanely awesome burst of energy.
We good? We're good.
This knocks Sandman into the sea, and Marco is subdued. Despite being confined, Marco is still acting strange, and warns Pete and Miles.
Marco, it's gonna be okay.
I haven't been okay for a long time.
If you need help, all you have to do is ask.
You're the ones who are gonna need help when they come for you.
We now get a flashback to 6 months earlier, and our first look at Kraven, an extremely dangerous and deadly hunter.
I've been in your shadow for hours, but you sense nothing. Pathetic.
He is looking for someone to call an equal, and is less than satisfied with his recent prey. So, he decides to try a new hunting ground, and settles on one ripe with super powerful humans, New York City.
Sir, perhaps a new hunting ground.
Light the fires. The great hunt begins.
In the aftermath of Marco's rampage, Pete and Miles work to clean up the streets and help those in need. However, the city's communication network is down, and they can no longer receive any incoming requests, so Genki helps to create a new network.
Local network should be online. Let me notify the app users. Reports should start coming in any minute now.
Completing this task will earn enough XP to level up, and gain a skill point. This time around, there are 3 different skill trees. One unique to Miles, one unique to Pete, and one for skills that apply to both. Some of these are additional attacks that can be customized to the attack wheel, similar to Spider Barrage or Venom Punch, and both Miles and Pete have 4 available for each of the main buttons. No sooner is the new network up and running when a nearby crime is reported. Pete responds and takes out the thieves. Stopping crimes rewards both XP and tech parts. Each crime will have optional bonus objectives to complete for additional rewards. Tech parts can be used to craft new gadgets and upgrades. Here, the first new gadget is an upshot that launches enemies into the air. The gadgets are shared and applied to both Pete and Miles. Returning from the previous game is the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app, which will track incoming requests, missions, and crimes in progress. New to this game is the ability to use the app to transition between Pete and Miles. Here, you switch and the player now controls Miles, who is assisting around the city and responding to crimes as well. An urgent request needs assistance at a burning building with civilians trapped inside. Miles rescues them, but inside finds a strange crystal amongst the sand. Approaching it summons many sand enemies that must be defeated. After taking them out, Miles breaks open the crystal, which releases a memory from Marco.
1 minute I was with you, and the next, you were gone.
Talking crystal. Okay.
This unlocks a new objective and collectible, with 14 memories scattered throughout the city, each one with further insight into Marco's mind. Having responded to the various requests, Miles now looks to balance work and life, as he heads back to school where he is scheduled to meet with a counselor for help with his college essay. However, duty calls and he must fight off criminals to rescue a civilian in trouble, who turns out to be none other than Jameson. Miles brings him to a nearby hospital, and he is as grateful as you would expect.
They kidnapped me. I did not consent. Menaces. I'm surrounded by menaces. But J. Jonah Jameson is not going anywhere, you hear me? I'm not going anywhere! Wait, where am I going? Where am I going?
Unfortunately, by the time he arrives at the school, the counselor has already left, despite Haley attempting to stall him. Things are not looking any better for Pete, as he is fired from his teaching job for abandoning the students. Upset and out of work, Pete is unsure what to do next. Luckily, Miles knows just something that can help, and tells Pete about an open call for photographs of life in the city. This unlocks another miscellaneous side task to complete. Scattered throughout the city are 23 different photo ops to find. Completing these and any side objective will reward city tokens, which are used for purchasing suits and upgrades. Finding collectibles and completing side tasks within different areas of the city unlocks reward tiers and eventually the ability to fast travel. After completing enough objectives, a new spider suit can be purchased. Most now also have a color palette swap for even more personalization than before. Changing your suit will reward a trophy. Pete then heads home to his aunt and uncle's old house where he meets up with MJ.
Yeah, I need to donate it, but not just yet. What are you looking at?
Some pretty cute old photos of you.
I think that was in my bedroom. Why did you take a picture of that? Balance. What does that mean?
Inside, Pete remembers an important moment with Aunt May.
Spider-Man, is he a threat or a menace? Our phone lines are open.
Menace. Definitely a big fat menace. Let me tell you something about this thing called superhero.
Balance is a process, not a destination. I'm still working on that. Oh, come on. Come on.
He heads back downstairs when he hears MJ scream from outside. Pete rushes out the door, but he finds a wonderful surprise. Harry has come home.
Whoa! Doctors haven't cleared me for MJ hugs yet.
Sorry.
Harry. I missed you.
I missed you too. I was being treated in isolation here in the city, and I didn't want you guys to worry about me.
Is it the same thing your mom had?
It was. Past tense. We think it's in remission.
Harry, this is... I can't believe it. You look great.
I feel great.
They agree to meet up for dinner at Coney Island the next day, as MJ heads off for work. Pete and Harry catch up as they ride bikes around the neighborhood, showing just how much better Harry is doing. They reach their old high school and sneak inside. They have flashbacks and continue to talk. However, one such flashback is an unpleasant memory, but this sets the stage for what is next.
It's my dad. Dad, I told you I'd call you when I got home.
It's your mother.
What happened?
Peter, would you excuse us for a moment?
Lots happened in the last 10 years. It's a miracle I'm even sitting here now. I got a second chance, and I'm gonna take advantage of that. But I need you with me, Pete.
Wow, this is, a lot to process.
Why don't you come by the lab tomorrow? Check it out.
You have a lab already?
I'll show you some of my ideas, and we can talk about it some more.
Harry has set up a new research lab in both his mom and Aunt May's honor and wants Pete on board as his partner. We then get a brief cutscene of Kraven and his targets.
Prepare for the transfer tomorrow. And do not fail again.
Now back with Miles, he struggles to complete his college essay. Pete calls about a mission and he can't run out fast enough. In a hurry to meet up with Pete, Miles can utilize wind tunnels around the city to glide at incredible speeds. Miles reaches Pete at the raft, where Scorpion is being transported. However, he is not the only one being moved, as Martin Lee is wheeled out next. Unfortunately, as they are loaded onto a nearby ship, Kraven's group of hunters arrive and attack. Scorpion and Lee are trapped below the ship's surface as it begins to flood. Miles heads down and saves Scorpion, who is not appreciative, and Miles is poisoned.
Thanks a million, kids. But I saved you. Oh, really?
He sees visions of his dad before eventually reaching Martin Lee, who is running out of air. Miles hesitates in rescuing Lee, but is about to do so when he absorbs Mr. Negative's powers. The hunters are able to then capture both Lee and Scorpion, but Miles fights them with his new Chain Lightning ability. On the surface, Miles must both fight the hunters and rescue civilians. Until Martin Lee's container is accidentally opened, releasing him.
You're just gonna let me die. You don't know what you took from me.
The hunters are quick though, and Miles, despite his anger, must abandon capturing Lee in order to help Pete save others.
Spider-Man, let him go! Spider-Man, I need your help!
After the chaos calms down, Pete reassures Miles that they will not only find the hunters, but return Martin Lee to the raft. With Mr. Negative's power absorbed, you can now choose between equipping Venom Punch or Chain Lightning, as they both occupy the same ability slot. This provides yet another layer of customization to fight your preferred combat style. A little while later, Miles receives a voicemail from his Uncle Aaron, who is out of jail on parole and would like to meet up.
What? Too busy to visit your fam?
Nah, I was just giving you space after you got out.
Don't need it. Besides, we gotta settle some things.
We do?
See you soon, kid.
Miles reluctantly agrees, and I decide to wear something reminiscent of Prowler to let him know there are no hard feelings.
We really gotta do this with the mask on?
Depends.
Relax. I'm not trying to get my ass kicked by my nephew again. Your dad used to give me that exact same look.
They meet up and hug it out.
Martin Lee. Someone got him out.
I know what you're thinking, Miles. This is not on you. We can't let him live up here. It's just another kind of prison.
It's not that easy.
Never said it was. But sometimes you gotta push the past away so you can make room for the future.
Miles confides his feelings about Lee, but Aaron warns him to let it go. Although Prowler is officially retired, he has some old tech he would like Miles to get rid of, so it doesn't end up in the wrong hands. At the location, Miles must infiltrate the Prowler security to access the tech. This unlocks a new side objective, in which Miles must find and obtain all of the hidden Prowler tech. Completing this first one rewards rare tech parts, which are used for additional suit purchases, and more powerful gadget upgrades and suit tech. Finding them all unlocks a new spider suit and earns a trophy. While traveling to the next Prowler stash, Miles finds a hunter crate on the roof of a building. Many of these are scattered around the city and provide additional tech parts or rare tech parts when found. No trophy is associated with finding all of these, they are just an added resource available. Now, we check in with Pete, who has arrived at the Emily May Foundation, named for Harry's mother and Pete's aunt.
That's Emily's tree. This is perfect.
You made it!
I thought you said this was a startup.
Yeah, I was hoping for something a little less... this, but my dad was the one who, he made all the arrangements.
Peter Parker! So, what do you think? It's a far cry from that chop shop that Otto had you in.
Inside, Harry shows Pete around and introduces him to some of the researchers and the various projects they are working on. As Pete explores the facility, you are introduced to some new mini-games that will be utilized in the game. These include flying robotic bees and gene splicing. Eventually, they reach what Harry hopes will be their share. Harry asks Pete what he thinks about joining, and Pete excitedly agrees to come on board.
Oh, one quick thing.
After exiting the Foundation, Pete is presented with a new side objective to complete. Around the city are research locations for the Emily May Foundation that assist in their vision of helping the world. Completing all of these will reward a trophy. After completing some work for the Foundation, Pete heads towards the city bridge where Genki and Miles have a lead on the hunters that kidnapped Lee. However, when he arrives, there is nothing to see. That is, until he inadvertently stumbles upon the hunters hidden behind advanced cloaking tech. Pete fights them off and investigates their equipment. He activates one of the nearby bird drones and follows it, hoping to find some answers. The drone arrives at a rooftop with more hunters hidden behind camouflage. After defeating these enemies, Pete arrives at an old abandoned market being used as a hunter base. He silently takes out the hunters and makes his way deeper inside. He comes across a hunter bow and utilizes the technology within to craft a new gadget, the web line. This can be used to travel across large gaps and create new stealth takedown opportunities. Be sure to utilize this gadget whenever possible, as there is a trophy associated with getting stealth takedowns from the web line, and this is much easier to obtain during story missions than after beating the game, as I found out the hard way. After further infiltration, Pete discovers that Kraven has been studying the powers of both Lee and Scorpion, but for what purpose, he is unsure. He also discovers a computer with more villains, including Vulture and Black Cat. Pete assumes Kraven is gathering up a super team, but we soon find out how wrong he is. The game cuts to Kraven as he is sneakily attacked by Scorpion.
Have a nice trip. Is this the best you can do? They said you were a killer. Imagine my disappointment.
Scorpion proves no match for Kraven though, as he is easily defeated and killed. Right on cue, Pete learns that Kraven is actually hunting the villains, and those in the computer are targets, and immediately he's concerned for Felicia. Back with Miles, we see him put off his college essay once again as he obsesses over Lee. Pete wants Miles to reach out to Felicia and warn her, as he doesn't believe she will listen to him.
No way.
And Felicia's on their list too.
Black Cat? Your ex?
Exactly. She won't listen to me if I say she's in danger. But maybe she'd listen to someone she doesn't know.
Miles agrees and takes on a side objective while he waits for a location to search. This new task is to take out Hunter blinds, which are mini camouflaged rooftop bases. Taking out each of the 3 blinds will reveal the location of a larger base. Defeating all of these larger bases will reward a trophy. After a little while, MJ calls and provides Miles with a potential location for Felicia. He arrives at the safe house, but she isn't there. He utilizes new advanced AR tech from Genki to look for clues. He is able to access a vault that contains information about a wand of Watum and some French postcards.
Non-existent, but send me what you got.
Okay. There's some instruction manual for a wand of Watum.
Watum? I'll do a search. Give me a sec.
The wand is supposedly an ancient mystical device that can create portals to anywhere else, similar to Doctor Strange's power. Miles continues to track until he finally spots Felicia in the distance, and it appears she has control of the wand as she teleports into view. She runs, and Miles chases her throughout the city, in an epic scene that was reminiscent of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart to seamlessly travel between worlds.
Whoa! What the hell? Felicia, that could have hurt people! Ah! We can stop the guy trying to kill you!
Steal your own mystical artifact!
Hold!
Miles finally catches her and tries to warn her, but she is preoccupied with other business. Her girlfriend is in Paris and in trouble, but she can't travel far enough with the wand to reach her.
You've saved the city before, you'll do it again.
Spider-Man was right about you. You only care about yourself.
Look, kid. Not that it's your business. My girlfriend's in Paris. And I got her into trouble with some bad people.
Hunters arrive and interrupt, as they must join forces to fight them off.
Can I cut in?
After taking them out, Miles agrees to help, and he uses his abilities to power the wand and allow her to reach Paris. After, Miles attempts to use the wand to find Lee, but Felicia takes it back. From here, Miles receives a call from Genki that a reformed Mysterio is opening a new carnival attraction at Coney Island, and may be a hunter target. Haley is also having an art exhibit there, so Genki urges Miles on in that area too. In street clothes, Miles arrives at Coney Island with Genki, and they explore the Mysterium, Quentin Beck's new attraction.
Hello, I'm Quentin Beck, Master Illusionist, and this is Betsy, my business partner, and Cole, my technical advisor. And this is the next generation of entertainment.
Miles engages in new virtual technology as he DJs in a rhythm-based minigame. Before long, though, things break down, and he has a vision of Lee. He is also attacked from within the ride and must fight his way out. Beck is forced to close the attraction until he finds out what went wrong. Miles and Genki then meet up with Pete and MJ, who introduce them to Harry. However, Miles is messed up from seeing a vision of Lee and heads home with Genki, sadly skipping Haley's exhibit as well. Pete, MJ, and Harry then explore Coney Island and compete in many different carnival games.
Ready for round 2, Pete?
One of us has to be.
Step
Oh,
on
it
up.
is
You
on.
know you want to play some hoops.
Swish, swish, bish.
Never knew you were so into basketball, Harry.
With all this energy I've had lately, I'm into everything.
I know somebody who blew $20 trying to knock him down.
Yeah.
Not supposed to be able to do that.
They see a reformed Tombstone working as a mechanic before making their way to a strength test.
Is that Tombstone? What is he doing here?
Looks like he's a mechanic and saving the day.
Thanks for pulling me out, man. That could have been really bad.
Surprisingly, Harry breaks the machine with too much power. Pete and MJ then split from Harry and ride the Ferris wheel together. Their romantic ride is interrupted by hunters who arrive on the scene. Pete changes into his spider suit and fights them off, but makes sure he keeps his hat on that he won as a carnival prize. In the chaos, Tombstone is kidnapped and the roller coaster is damaged, and Pete must quickly act to rescue those on the ride. He is able to save all but one, who is about to fall to a terrible death.
Help!
I'm sorry! Harry? Pete?
That is, until Harry arrives to save the day, complete with his own suit and super strength. After getting everyone to safety, Pete and Harry reconvene on a nearby rooftop and try to understand Harry's new abilities.
Okay, we gotta talk.
We sure do. Spider-Man?
I know. But first, what are those things coming out of you?
I think it's my treatment. Dr. Connors said it's some kind of self-learning exosuit, but I had no idea it could... Wait. You know what this means, right? We both have superpowers. Just think about all the stuff we could do to heal the world!
But Harry does not have complete control yet. Luckily, though, they have just the place to try and learn more about Harry's treatment. They spend the night testing the abilities and eating pizza until Norman finds them and the office wrecked in the morning. Pete leaves and gets back to Spider-Man work. Genki informs him that a strange signal has been picked up on the network. Pete tracks it down and finds a spider bot. This serves as a collectible, with many to find throughout the city, and no on-map waypoint. Each has a unique skin representing various characters in the Spider-Man universe. Finding all will reward a trophy. While exploring the city, Pete receives a call from Felicia with a lead on Tombstone's location. He heads there and attempts to infiltrate the building. He engages in many fights, and surprisingly, Harry arrives to help.
You guys just can't make it easy.
Harry? What are you doing here? Helping you out, Spider-Man. You're welcome, by the way.
Harry is super excited and slightly reckless as he is overjoyed to be fighting alongside Pete.
Never felt so strong! Don't let it get to your head. We're not invincible. Changing location! You feel like this all the time? It's not all punching bad guys. I've had to make some hard choices, too. That's a gig.
They finally reach Tombstone, but his cell is heavily fortified. They fight more enemies, and Harry is a bit overeager and causes some accidental damage to the cell.
They rigged this whole thing.
Then I'll de-rig it.
What did I just tell you?
Sorry, it's my first day.
However, they are able to free Tombstone and make a run for the exit.
Harry! Harry! Gotta keep moving.
Narrowly, they escape, and Tombstone thanks them for the help. Harry and Pete talk on a roof as the suit seems to have an attraction to Pete.
Really? I was pretty sure I was just messing everything up.
You were, but in the best possible way.
What are you... Hold on. Sorry. I'm still figuring out how this thing works.
Pete updates Miles, but cuts the conversation short, as he doesn't seem to have much time for Miles lately. We now catch up with Miles, who is still having trouble with Lee being free. He meets up with Rio, and she advises him to try and let it go.
It's just a lot right now. So much to take care of in the city. Super stressed about my college essay. Pete's busy doing other stuff. And Lee. Lee's still out there. Doesn't that bother you?
Of course it bothers me. But I'm committed to making this community better. I've got to let go of things that don't serve me and focus on where I want to go, not where I've been.
He then assists in various side missions, including one where you get to control Haley with the audio muted to simulate the environment from her perspective. These were a fun break and a really unique and awesome experience. Back with Pete, he receives a phone call from MJ that Dr. Connors is missing, and the hunters are swarming his house. She has snuck inside one of their vans and is hacking their computer when she is accidentally locked inside and drops her phone. The hunters drive off to an unknown location, and the player now controls MJ as she sneaks around. She appears to be outside a zoo, and believes Dr. Connors must be nearby. Luckily, she still has her old Sable stun gun, and uses this to take out the hunters in the area. As she explores, she comes across Vulture's wings and an audio recording. She learns that Kraven has also hunted and killed Vulture, adding to his already ruthless hit list.
Another night tainted by the silence of death. I wasn't sure I could clip his wings. Perhaps that would be my weakness, but no. Not even that could save him.
He's dead.
Eventually, she locates where Dr. Connors is being held, but a passcode is required. She tricks the hunters on the radio to reveal the code before finally reaching the cage.
Just answer.
Itt Vika, Manguznak.
Vika, beteg vagy?
Garin, elegem van a hívásaiból. Hol vannak a kezülékhez kódok?
A kódok sorozaton az információs táblán van. Tudhatnád?
Te pedig azt tudhatnád. Milyen hangon beszélhetsz velem. Ne hív többet, mert a fejedbe kerülhet.
Inside, she reaches Dr. Connors, but Kraven immediately shows up. Kraven injects Dr. Connors with a green fluid, which brings out his lizard side, as Pete and Harry arrive to take out the hunters. In the midst of the battle, Pete confronts Kraven and is stabbed and wounded badly.
No!
as venomous as they say.
Angry, Harry attacks Craven while MJ tends to Pete. She carries Pete towards the exit, but he is fading fast.
This feels not great.
Just think, this'll definitely be your coolest scar.
Yeah. MJ, I don't think... Am I breathing? I can't see.
Focus, Pete. One foot in front of the other. Come on.
Sorry. I was always so busy.
Don't. Look, we're almost... Pete, talk to me. Almost there. Hang on. Hang on.
Pete falls to the ground as Harry comes to his side. There is nothing they can do, though, as Pete succumbs to his wounds and dies.
No, you gotta stay awake, buddy.
Pete!
No!
While crying over Pete's body, Harry's suit begins to move towards Pete. It connects to him and miraculously brings him back to life. Stored and empowered, Pete angrily fights the hunters. With his new abilities, he defeats them with ease, but not before the lizard and Craven escape. After the battle, they all return to the Emily May Foundation as Pete tries to return the suit to Harry. Unfortunately, he is unable to do so, and they realize the sad truth. Without the suit, Harry will die. Desperate, they decide to try and bring Dr. Connors back to his human form, as he knows about the suit and what they can do to help Harry. With the suit, Pete now has a new class of abilities that can be unlocked and assigned to the various slots, starting with Symbiote Punch. Re-energized and feeling great, Pete heads off in search of Craven, hoping to steal the antidote serum to fix Connors. He learns that the hunters are hosting a party, so he poses as a waiter and infiltrates the gathering. He sneaks his way into Craven's lounge and discovers some information on the hunt. The hunt is a way of life, and the ultimate goal seems to be finally being defeated by a worthy prey. There is no emotional connection outside the hunt, even for family. While attempting to leave, Pete is spotted and must fight his way out. He unlocks a new ability, Symbiote Surge, which enables an overpowered attack form for a brief period of time. With this, the hunters are no problem, but Craven is not there. Pete believes he knows where he might be and heads towards a nearby graveyard. In the courtyard, he encounters heavily armed forces before making his way inside the church. Here, he encounters Craven, who discovers the suit's weakness to high-pitched sounds.
I see a man. I sense a beast.
set it free. I'm just here to save my friend. We'll finish this later. My final hunt.
Kraven decides that Pete is worthy of his final hunt, but Pete is able to grab the serum and leaves before they can finish the fight. Pete heads back to the lab and meets up with Harry to analyze the serum. They complete the analysis but must run it through the proton accelerator. They attempt to do so, but it is not running properly, and fires start popping up around the facility. To make matters worse, while the sample is finally processing, hunters break in and attack. It turns out the serum was being tracked, and Kraven let Pete take it so he can follow him. Pete defends the serum while it continues to process. The battles begin to tear the building apart, and Harry removes the serum before it's too late. Pete and Harry escape the wreckage with the antidote intact, but there is no saving the Emily May Foundation. Harry is distraught, but Pete reassures him that he will find Dr. Connors, cure Harry, and rebuild the Foundation. The next morning, Miles tries to call Pete, but he doesn't answer. He follows a lead from Genki to a Hunter satellite. The satellite is using drones to track Kraven's targets. Miles glides behind it to gather data before destroying the drone. This unlocks a new objective which finds more drones to track and uncover more Kraven targets. Finding them all unlocks a trophy. After taking out the drone, Miles visits his father's grave for some advice.
Hey, Dad. Could really use your help right now. I'm doing everything I can to find Lee. But nothing's working. I know what you say. A hero is someone who doesn't give up. And I'm not. I just don't know what else to do. Maybe I should just ignore everything else and spend all my time trying to find Lee. No. If people need help, I'm helping. And I'll find Lee. If Pete's too busy, I'm Spider-Man. I can handle everything myself. Wish me luck, though? Thanks, Dad. I love you.
Hoping to find Dr. Connors, Pete arrives at his home. The place seems like no one has been around for a while, and there are lab samples on the counter. This makes Pete search for a hidden lab, which he does in fact discover hidden behind a desk. Pete searches the lab and finds old camera footage recorded recently from the panic room. On the tape, Dr. Connors, in lizard form, attempts to cure himself, but is unsuccessful. Pete enters the panic room, but Connors is gone. Outside, he hears the arrival of hunters, who are also looking for Connors. Pete confronts them and fights them outside.
Let me tell you how this is all gonna go down. You leave Connors alone! He doesn't deserve this! But if you or Craven keep going after him, you'll answer to me!
After, he learns of Dr. Connors being sighted at the Harlem Fish Market, but he can't get there before the hunters, so he asks Miles for help. Miles must unfortunately leave Haley and arrives at the fish market only to find more hunters to take out. He does so and hacks a nearby drone, allowing Genki to take control of it to help locate Connors. They search deep within the market until rendezvousing with Pete, who has finally arrived. As they discuss where to look next, they don't need to look any further. Connors bursts through the wall and smashes his way back outside. Together, they chase after him throughout the city as the hunters follow in close pursuit. In the ensuing chaos, Connors is able to escape, but Pete insists on tracking him alone.
I saved the tracker. Let's go, man, before he gets too far.
No. He's mine.
You sure? He's got big teeth.
So do I.
He's not normally like that, right?
No.
Miles senses that something is wrong with Pete, and MJ begins to notice as well.
What's wrong?
Nothing!
Meaning something.
Miles was off his game. We almost had Lizard.
I'm sure he was just trying to help.
Sometimes it's just easier to do things myself.
That's not fair, Pete. We're a team.
We just really need Connors right now. For Harry.
Okay.
Pete searches the sewers for Connors as Harry's condition is beginning to deteriorate.
Harry. You're alive. I haven't heard from you in a while.
I'm close to finding Dr. Connors. As soon as I stick him with the antidote, this suit's coming right back to you.
Okay. Let me know when you find him.
Following the sewer, Pete uncovers a hidden research lab that Connors used to research celestial data and meteorites. Before he can connect the dots, Lizard ambushes Pete and they must fight. Pete tries to inject the antidote, but is unsuccessful, as Connors reaches the surface again and rampages through the city.
Stay still!
They eventually end up back underground and battle again. This time, Pete gives in to the symbiote and overpowers Lizard, injecting the antidote and bringing Connors back.
Time for your medicine.
Recovered and back in the underground lab, Connors is distraught and worried seeing Pete wearing the symbiote.
Where did you get that?
Harry Osborn. He said you designed it.
Come with me.
He takes Pete to a part of the lab where he is keeping a celestial meteorite. He gets too close to the suit, which reaches out and triggers a flashback. This shows the origin of not only the suit, but of Connor's amputation.
It's okay. It's okay.
Fascinating.
Shoot it off!
Do it!
Turns out the suit is an alien life form that is alive and bonding with Pete on a subcellular level. The symbiote chose Pete as its host, which causes Connors to panic.
He gave it to you? Not exactly. I was hurt, and it chose you. Which means it's more dangerous than I could have imagined. We need to call Oscorp. We need to destroy it. Destroy us?
He tries to call Osborn to destroy the suit, but Pete has had a change of heart, now speaking in the plural. With no interest in returning the suit to Harry, Pete leaves Connors in the lab, but is once again tracked by the hunters. Pete updates a concerned MJ, but he blows off her worries.
Connors is cured, the suit's still going strong, and apparently is called a symbiote. Oh, and it's an alien, which is pretty nuts, right?
Wait, what? You don't sound concerned.
I'm a little concerned, but I also couldn't have stopped Connors without it.
Peter, the two of you tore through half the city. Like, did you see what you did to the museum? I'm honestly surprised nobody got killed.
I'm not. And you know I had to cure him somehow. I mean, should I have just let him keep destroying things on his own?
That's not the... I'm gonna work here for the rest of the night. My muse for a new Jonah-proof article has finally struck.
Finally, Pete returns home and immediately falls into a deep sleep, once again blowing off MJ and her new article. Oblivious to the danger around him, the hunters have followed him home, and MJ is in trouble. Fortunately, she is more than capable of holding her own, and sneaks out of the house.
Web shooters. Perfect.
Eventually, Pete wakes up and attacks the hunters, but very little of Pete appears to remain, as he is violent and irrational, with no regard for damage or others. After sneaking around, MJ catches up to Pete, but he is long gone. Desperate, she calls Miles for help. Miles chases after Pete and catches up to him as he is rampaging through hunters and doing a ton of damage.
Miles, I need you to seal me and Pete in the tunnel.
What?
If I can just talk to him alone, I know I can snap him out of this.
MJ, I don't know if that's the best.
Now, Miles!
Man!
After a while, MJ arrives and Miles encloses her in the tunnel with Pete in the hopes of reasoning with him.
Pete?
It doesn't work though, and she must utilize high-pitched frequencies to subdue him. Back outside, Miles is fighting off hunters when a civilian is in need of rescuing.
Possible. You're welcome.
Unfortunately, the hunters have preyed on Miles' heroics and tricked him. Craven arrives and takes Miles away. Back in the tunnel, an enraged Pete attacks MJ, and she is narrowly able to escape his wrath, but she didn't see what happened to Miles.
I wasn't trying to hurt you! There. That's my exit!
The next morning, Pete wakes up on a bench in the middle of the city. He is feeling great and having no troubles from the previous night's event. He receives a voice message from Harry pleading for the suit back, but Pete ignores him.
Harry left another message.
Pete, I really need that suit back. Dad's working on a new cure, but I don't know. Bring it back. Please.
I wonder if Harry really needs the suit. I mean, if I keep it, the city's a better place. Everyone benefits. Everybody wins when Spider-Man's at his best, right?
He then gets an alert from the Daily Bugle and reads MJ's new article, that he shouldn't have blown off the night before. In it, she talks of the recent changes to Spider-Man. Pete then meets up with Harry and MJ as they try to intervene, but he is completely delusional and manipulated by the suit.
You're not yourself. That suit is changing you.
This suit is the only reason I'm still alive.
Yeah, it's pretty great, isn't it?
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you're really feeling?
Hey, don't.
I'm busting my ass out there trying to save you, and this is what I get?
I said don't.
I saw your story.
I tried to tell you about that.
Yeah, but you didn't, did you?
I can't lose this job.
Your job is to write the truth.
I did.
The truth is, I'm the hero here, not you.
To top it off, Pete receives a phone call from Rio, who is worried that Miles never came home last night. Pete is angry that she is even bothering him as he continues being a dick to everyone around him.
Why can't anyone take care of themselves? It's always up to me.
In person, Rio demands that Pete go and find Miles.
Hours. Nothing. You know Miles has been hunting Lee.
I'll find him.
I'm calling the hospital.
I said I'd find him. I've got this under control.
All Miles talks about is how to be a better Spider-Man. Not school, not his friends. How to help you. Go help him.
Miles then awakes in a locked-down cell, with seemingly no escape. However, he is far too smart and crafty to be held for long.
You guys no way out of here?
You will never leave this place.
It's starting to feel that way.
He fights his way through many enemies before reaching a floor full of chanting hunters. These do not attack, and even move out of his way to allow for passage. Miles moves forward into a large Colosseum-like structure. Kraven speaks as Miles learns why he was allowed to escape. Standing across from him in the arena is Martin Lee, and they must battle to the death.
Fight
to the death. Or die here together.
So how many people did you kill before I got here?
I didn't have a choice.
You always have a choice.
I understand you want to kill me. But I can't let you do that.
What makes you think you deserve to live?
I won't die as the man that I was.
Need to be faster. You don't get to walk away from what you did. The inner demons, Devil's Breath, the City Hall bombing.
Don't recount my sins to me. I know what I did.
You have no idea.
They do fight until Mr. Negative grabs Miles and sucks him into another realm. Here, Miles must battle Lee and his own insecurities as Lee looks deeper within his soul.
You don't get it. I mean, I tried. I tried to teach you, to make you into a hero. I knew you'd always be second best, but all you've ever done is let people down. Put people in danger. That's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man helps people. You just hurt them.
Here, Mom. I can't do this anymore, Miles. You're always gone. Always in danger.
No.
You're going to get yourself killed.
Won't.
And then what? You can't win, Miles. I should never have let you try. All it's ever done is make me more alone. Put me in more danger.
No. I want to protect you. I will.
Overcoming his inner demons, Miles reveals to Lee who he is and blasts his way out, finally letting things go and no longer holding himself back.
Miles. No. I'm done listening to you. Losing my dad? It's not what's holding me back. I was the one doing that. But not anymore.
Lee is defeated, but Miles does not want to kill him. Rather, he helps him escape to find Pete for help. Miles' trust in Lee was not unrewarded, as Lee shows up at Feast, knowing Pete will track him down. Pete tries to attack, but Lee's ability renders him powerless. He tells Pete the location of Kraven and Miles, so Pete heads off for there.
He saved me. Told me to find you. This was the only way I knew how. I owe him my life. And much more. If we hurry...
No. You've done enough.
You should be proud of him. reminds me of you.
He arrives at the mansion and goes full Arbiter Rage mode on the hunters, until finally taking Kraven on.
Where is Spider-Man? Find him yourself! Stay focused! Fight! Clear back! Tell me where he is!
Closer than you think.
Let us make this a glorious ending! You destroyed my city! Took the lives of so many people! That was their fate. Just as this is ours. Your achievement to the streets! My. I hope you're enjoying this. Tonight won't end well for you.
Kraven nearly overpowers Pete, but the symbiote is too much for him to handle.
Kill or be killed.
Stop!
Pete is about to kill Kraven when Miles stops him. At this point, there is very little, if any, Pete left, and he proceeds to attack Miles. They battle in an epic and amazing fight.
You almost killed him, man! What are you doing? You're in the way, Miles!
Always in the way.
I could have fixed everything! How? By strangling him? That's not what we do! Try to mentor me! You're the one running away from your problems! I need this suit! It makes me a better Spider-Man! You just want it for yourself! All I want is to save you! I'm the hero! I don't get sick!
Despite the power of the symbiote at Pete's disposal, Miles is able to fight through with the use of Lee's absorbed powers.
I can't let this go! I'm finally everything everyone needs me to be! Yeah? You don't even answer my calls anymore, man! And what about MJ? You could have killed her! I know you're hurting, Pete! But you're better than this! I know, but... No.
After a long and hard-fought battle, Miles is able to weaken the symbiote with intense sound frequencies. This provides Pete with an opportunity to remove the suit and finally free himself from the symbiote. It tries to return to him, but Miles traps it. After escaping, Pete apologizes to Miles.
Miles, I'm sorry. Thank you for everything.
Even though the symbiote was the cause of his behavior, he has a long apology tour to tend to. He heads to Oscorp, where Harry eagerly awaits the return of the suit. However, Pete informs him that the suit has to be destroyed. Harry is understandably upset, as he doesn't want to die.
Pete, please. You don't understand. Connor said it was...
I saved your life? And you won't save mine? Do you want me to die?
Seemingly reacting to Harry's emotions, the symbiote breaks free and reattaches to him. This time, though, there is no Harry. The symbiote has fully embodied Venom and is more powerful than ever. Pete tries to stop him, but Venom easily overpowers him.
No! Don't hurt him!
Now, the player controls Venom as he rampages through Oscorp, destroying the building and killing anyone who stands in his way. Venom smashes his way outside and continues to wreak havoc wherever he goes. No one is a match for him. That is, until Kraven returns for his final hunt.
That's so!
The fight is intense, but his final hunt is exactly what it was, as Venom defeats him and biting his head off in the process, fulfilling Kraven's deepest desire to be defeated.
Thank you.
This act, though, appears to have reached the Harry within, as he emerges briefly to reflect on his actions.
Mom. I don't... What did I just do?
Don't be scared, honey. You finally have the power to do what we've always wanted. We're going to heal the world.
How?
Let me show you.
However, Venom manipulates him and shows him a vision of how they can heal the world together. In the aftermath of the wreckage, Pete recovers and attempts to track down Harry. He follows the signal on Harry's ID badge, but instead finds more symbiote beings. Venom has spread his power around the city and infected many citizens. These are super powered and nearly impossible to defeat. So, Pete crafts a new attachment for his concussion burst to send a sonic boom and disorient and weaken the symbiotes, allowing the humans inside to be freed. This also unlocks a new side objective in which Pete and Miles must track down symbiote nests and destroy them to free civilians. Many are around the city, and destroying them all will reward a trophy. From here, Pete calls MJ, who is being praised by Jameson because of course he likes her article talking bad about Spider-Man. He attempts to warn her about Harry when there is a knock on the door. She answers it to find Harry, and the call cuts out. Pete rushes home, where he finds Harry and MJ calmly sitting at the dinner table. Harry talks things out with Pete, but one misspoken word by Pete triggers the symbiote.
Giving up on me?
Harry, we need to get that thing off you.
Do not call us a thing. We are.
Venom immediately attacks Pete, but MJ takes the hit for him. With Pete trapped, Venom proceeds to infect MJ, transforming her into a symbiote of her own, Scream. With no other option, Pete is forced to fight Scream, who brings to light some harsh feelings that MJ was likely burying deep within, although the symbiote is clearly manipulative.
MJ, just talk to me!
I'm done talking! Done begging for validation! From you! From anyone!
Validation? If this is about your job!
It's about me! Nay! Not my job in this stupid house! And for once, not about you!
After a long and difficult fight, Pete is able to trigger a high-pitched noise, allowing MJ to break free. The first thing she does after is quit her job, and she reconciles with Pete.
Sorry.
It wasn't you. And I wasn't me earlier.
Pete, Pete, it was like some kind of hive mind in there. I saw you. And Harry, he was going after this rock.
Miles is at City Hall.
Go. I love you.
I love you.
With this information, Pete heads to City Hall to help Miles as he fights numerous symbiotes. In battle, Pete is overpowered by the symbiotes and is about to be taken over. That is, until he is surprisingly saved by Martin Lee.
What are you doing here? Are you alright? Spider-Man!
He said there was still some of this thing inside him.
I see. I think I can clear it out of him. But only if I go to the source.
I'm going in with you.
It seems that some of the symbiote is still trapped within Pete, so Lee and Miles travel within him to remove it. They find the last bit of remaining symbiote. Together, they try to remove it, but their power is not enough. Left with no other options, Lee sacrifices his power to try and free Pete. Unsure of what comes next, Miles lets his hatred go once and for all.
I won't forgive you. It's just not in me. But I can't carry this hate for you anymore, man. So let's set things right. You and me.
Lee then transfers his energy into the symbiote, destroying it. And Pete is finally free. Now, Pete has a new form, Anti-Venom, and with new abilities to go along with it. With this, Pete makes quick work of the symbiotes around him. With Lee's redemption complete, he turns himself in to the police.
I spent years of my life consumed with vengeance and lost everything for it. You two reminded me that that's not who I am. When you help someone, you help everyone.
Where are you gonna go?
To set things right. Your way.
Pete heads back to Oscorp in search of Venom, but he is too late. Venom takes the meteorite and looks to finish his master plan. To make matters worse, Connors has terrible news. Harry and the symbiote have perfectly fused, and there is no saving Harry. The only way to stop Venom is to kill Harry. Pete refuses to accept the truth and heads out in search of Venom. He meets up with Miles and they go over their plan. Pete is vulnerable, but Miles provides him strength and support, and there is an awesome callback to the first game as their roles are reversed, with Miles now taking the lead.
I saw May when I was in your head. It's not your fault, Pete. She wanted to save you. To save all of us.
Call the play, coach.
They split up, with Miles taking down nearby symbiote nests. After clearing out the enemies, the nest speaks to Miles. Through a connection, Miles is able to see the location of the meteorite, but also an image of Haley in danger. Miles heads for her while Pete heads for the meteorite. It turns out the vision was not true, as Haley is perfectly safe. Miles takes this opportunity to let her know how he feels and leaves to help Pete.
You're incredible. I like you so much, and I think you like me. Do you want to go out? On a date?
A guilty Pete is coming to terms with his behavior while desperately trying to reach the meteorite.
Harry, I messed up. I was terrible to you. Your dream, our dream, healing the world. I'm sorry.
He reaches the location Miles saw in the vision, but the meteorite isn't there. Unfortunately, Venom is, and he attempts to take over Pete again. This inadvertently reveals the true location of the meteorite, and Miles arrives to save him.
Yo, bro! Not cool.
We can't stay here.
They run away and regroup to come up with a new plan. Just like in the first game, Pete, Miles, and MJ discuss their plan of action. Pete lures Venom out as a distraction, while Miles fights the symbiotes and MJ sneaks inside. MJ sneaks and fights her way deeper until she reaches the meteorite and steals it. She escapes, and her and Miles head to the Emily May Foundation. Meanwhile, Pete battles Venom all across the destroyed city.
Please, remember everything we've been through! Did you forget about Flash kicking our asses for 4 years?
Will we then?
But we had each other! When you lost her, that day on the football field, I was there! Always have been!
Till we got stuck again. We gave you everything you ever wanted, and you threw us away.
I should have been better! I'm so sorry!
Then you replaced us with Miles. We poisoned you against us even more.
No! He saved me! Just like I'll save you!
In the middle of battle, Venom realizes the meteorite is gone and spawns wings to fly after it. Miles and MJ reach the Foundation, but Venom has caught up to them. Now, it is Miles' turn to battle Venom. MJ fires up the proton accelerator to destroy the meteorite. As it charges up, Miles continues to fight Venom. Harry is briefly revealed, which enrages Pete as he pummels Venom. Pete and Miles team up in an epic fight sequence before Venom crashes to the ground.
You ready to finish this?
Almost.
Pete reveals Harry one last time as he pleads with him.
I'm done. Either way, Pete.
No. We still have time?
No, we don't. It'll kill them. And then it'll kill you. Let's heal the world, Pete. Together.
With the accelerator finally charged, Harry pulls apart the suit enough for Pete to make the toughest decision yet.
Now, Pete!
MJ!
Harry fades away, but Miles has one last ditch effort.
Give me some room. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I gotta try.
Miraculously, this brings Harry back to life, but we soon learn that he will most likely never be the same.
There are traces of brain activity, but his chances of coming back are very slim.
Just keep him alive.
We get a teaser for the Green Goblin as the game fades to everyone attempting to return to normal.
Get the G serum ready. ASAP.
Outside, Pete reveals to MJ that he is restarting the Emily May Foundation and giving up Spider-Man. He just needs to tell Miles. However, Miles has Pete's back as always and is ready for the responsibility.
I've been meaning to talk to you about something. I have been talking to you all the time. It's great to talk. So many good talks. I just haven't been talking to you about what I should have been talking to you about. Pete. Wait, let me start again.
I got this. All of it. Go be Peter Parker for a while.
Are you sure? It's a big city.
I can handle it. As long as I can still call you for advice.
You don't need it.
Maybe not now, but there'll come a time.
I'm here for you. Always.
Miles heads out as the Spider-Man and the game ends. After the credits, we get a brief exchange between Norman and Otto before one final teaser involving Silk, and the game is over.
What do you want?
The Spider-Men. You know who they are, don't you?
Why?
They ruined my son.
Good. We all have to experience loss. Even you, Norman.
What are you writing?
The final chapter.
Hi. Miles, Haley, this is Albert.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Oh, and this is my daughter, Cindy.
At this point, you will have earned all story-related trophies. There is no New Game Plus or difficulty-related trophy, so a single playthrough is all that you need. As usual, one trophy will encompass several others, and that is to get 100% in all districts. This requires completion of all of the side objectives, missions, and collectibles. The in-game map will show everything that is available and what is still needed. Many of these will also reward a new suit in addition to its individual trophy. Leveling up each district will unlock fast travel, which was very impressive this time around. Now, let's take a look at some of these tasks. Collecting all of Marco's memories will reveal extra story details with each broken crystal. Each will also begin to repair his mind. It turns out that Marco is being hunted by Kraven, and feared for his daughter's life. After collecting all memories, Spider-Man will check on Marco's daughter and let him know that she is alive and well. Collecting all of Prowler's stashes will reveal fun information regarding Aaron and Miles' dad. After completing them all, Miles will receive a new suit and an extra cutscene.
I knew I couldn't trust you.
Miles?
Don't Miles me. What are you doing here without breaking parole? You said you were retiring the Prowler. You lied to me.
Whoa. Slow down there.
Mijo?
Mom?
We were going to surprise you, but
Okay, what's going on here?
when you started helping out your uncle, I was inspired. Despite all the things he did, you forgave him. So I decided to do the same and help him out by co-signing the lease on this apartment.
Thanks again, Rio.
It'll be nice to have family close by again.
Completing all of the Emily May Foundation research locations will reward an additional scene after completing the main story, and this was a really happy moment for Pete, albeit bittersweet.
I wasn't positive I'd be here to give them to you myself.
Harry.
After the Emily May Foundation was destroyed by Craven's hunters, I went to see what I could recover before it got boarded up. In the box, you'll find a piece of bark from my mom's tree, and one of May's blossoms. And I thought, if you gene splice them together, you might get a hardy enough plant to produce seeds. I know. It'll be years before we see the results. And who's to say where you and I will be a week from now, let alone years from now? Which is why I did this simulation to show you. So Emily and May will live on in the city, and, of course, in us.
Completing all of the Mysterium challenges will reveal the source of the disturbances in the attractions. There was one particular challenge that required 20 defeats in under a minute that was the most difficult part of the Platinum journey for me. This wasn't terrible, but the time restraint was very strict and took many attempts, but precise concussion shots and Web Gatherer could knock enemies off the map. It turns out that Mysterio was being set up by his co-workers, and Miles reveals the truth. Collecting all of the spider bots unveils an extra cutscene involving Delilah, a cut character from the Across the Spider-Verse movie.
Look at this, a spider hero. We're all saved.
Hi. Who are you?
Me? I'm just a bartender who does favors for people every now and then. And I've learned that rogue spider bots are dangerous and bad for business. Let me take those off your hands.
Whoa!
Thank you, Spider-Man. We can always count on you to do the right thing.
Another part of the districts are side missions, and there are several side mission storylines. One involves Miles helping Rio uncover corruption at the museum. One involves Miles helping college students with miscellaneous projects. And a deeply personal storyline involving Pete and Howard from the first game. There is also a flame side task involving Yuri, who is now Wraith, that makes an awesome reference to Carnage and things to come in the future.
That's what all this was for.
And when the Crimson Hour rolls over this earth, it shall bring truth, judgment, and carnage.
In addition, Spider-Man 2 does have combat-related trophies. These include a wide variety of objectives, such as using symbiote abilities during Symbiote Surge, defeating 100 enemies with both spider arms and venom abilities, and the most challenging, performing 25 stealth takedowns from a web line. After completing the main story, there are less opportunities to get these, which I made the mistake of doing. However, I used one of the Mysterium challenges, which can be replayed, and eventually got the trophy. After getting 100% in all districts, the next set of trophies should be achieved naturally. These include reaching max level, obtaining all suits, purchasing all suit upgrades, and getting all gadget upgrades. All that is left for the Platinum Trophy now are miscellaneous trophies. These include performing 30 air tricks without touching the ground, rounding the bases of the baseball field, finding Miles and Finn's Science Award, visiting Aunt May's grave, flying with the web wings across the map, and my personal favorite, Splat. Overall, Spider-Man 2 is a truly wonderful experience. I don't know how to fully describe just how amazing this game truly is. It took everything the previous games did, and those games did everything right, and amped it up to a new level. The combat is incredibly cinematic, with a natural flow, with so much customization and personal touch in battle. The cutscenes are deeply immersive, with the graphics dialed up on the PlayStation 5. The excellent motion capture and attention to detail adds to every scene. The voice acting is moving, raw, and compelling, as Yuri Lowenthal, Najee Jeter, Laura Bailey, and Stephen O'Young return as Pete, Miles, MJ, and Lee respectively. They join newcomers Graham Phillips and Jim Peary as Harry and Craven. There is no shortage of emotionally powerful scenes, as every single character shines with award-worthy performances. Being able to play as several different characters was a nice addition, and the level of customization was increased with both Miles and Pete having multiple sets of abilities. Although it was short-lived, being able to play as Venom was probably the best part of the game, as it was so much fun to run around wrecking everything and everyone that stands in your way. The Platinum process was straightforward and a natural extension of completing everything the game has to offer. Nothing was too difficult, with a few minor exceptions, and this is a Platinum trophy that is well worth the effort and time investment. I recommend this game for fans of the first 2 games, and any Spider-Man fan will not be disappointed. However, this game was not without a few quirks. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for Platinum Review number 48.